2 tickets to go see Elvis, and then the following Saturday here he says that again. He says, now they're here in town, they've got a dress rehearsal this afternoon, you can't go to that. But I've got 2 tickets to go see Elvis tonight, and if you're the 13th caller, one of those deals call-in things, I will give you these 2 tickets to go see Elvis. And I thought, okay, here we go. And you see, I started playing guitar, ladies and gentlemen, when I was 5 years old. And I started playing 3-finger bluegrass banjo when I was 6, so I kind of had a little bit of knowledge about the stringed instruments. Not a whole lot, but more than the average person, I guess. Anyway, we had the one TV station in town, too. And they showed clips of the Louisiana Hayride and showed Elvis. And showed him up there bouncing, singing, and beating on this beautiful Martin D18 guitar, because at the time he didn't have a drummer. He didn't have DJ Fontana at the time. He was the drummer, Elvis was. And all of us kids who were in folk music and country music, we played acoustic guitars, so we would have killed to have had a Martin D18 guitar. You know what I'm talking about.
I still would kill to have a Martin.
Yeah, and so would I. And of course we couldn't afford it. But I made up my mind one day, because it hurt my feelings to see somebody mistreating a guitar like that. At least it seemed mistreated to me. I made up my mind one day I'm going to meet this guy and I'm going to tell him he can't play guitar worth a damn. Well, I thought, now here's my chance. General Stanley says that he's giving away tickets. That means they've got a dress rehearsal. I can go down there. And so that particular Saturday afternoon, when that dress rehearsal was going to go on, they were going to be down at the old Shrine Mosque there on St. Louis Street in Springfield, Missouri. You people from Springfield will know about it. You know what I'm talking about. I figured, here's my chance. Now, how am I going to get out of the house? Now, my mom and dad picked that Saturday afternoon, decided to go down to the river. We had a cabin down in the Finley River, and they wanted to go down there for the afternoon. And they took off and left me at home. I'm 9 years old. This is not a good idea. For a kid like me, anyway. Of course, they had no idea what kind of evilness I had in my mind. And I wasn't about to tell them either, and I didn't tell them until I was 60 years old. But anyhow, they took off, and about the time they rounded the corner out the side of the house, I got on my bicycle, and I rode all the way down from the house down to the Shrine Mosque, parked my bicycle out back, went upstairs where the dressing rooms were, and I'm walking down the hallway. I'm looking to the left, I'm looking to the right, looking for Elvis. Nobody up there. Last dressing room on the left, all the way down to the end of the hallway, there he is. The door's open, he's kicked back in a chair, his feet up on the dressing room table. He's got a bag of, I guess, Tater burgers over here. He's got a 6-pack of Pepsis or Cokes or something over here. Oh, I just said brand name. How much trouble am I in?
That's okay.
I'm okay.
I'm from Atlanta, so you can. I live in Atlanta, so it was Cokes.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, I think, okay, Wilkinson, are you going to do what you said you're going to do, or you got the guts to do it, or are you going to back off? I thought, no, I've come too far now. I'm past the point of return. So, the door, like I said, the door's open a little bit, and I can see him. Oh, and by the way, he wasn't the greasy hood that everybody, so many people have made him out to be, you know, this motorcycle hoodlum with long greasy hair and all that. No, his hair was neatly brushed and combed. He had on a red and white checked or Western type shirt, pair of nice Levi's or Lees or whatever. His boots were nicely polished. He had on a Levi jacket. He looked great. So I tapped on the door. He looks up, and I look at him, and he says, and I said, "You're Elvis Presley." He said, "I know." I thought, okay, he's not a greasy hood, but he's a damn smart ass. Great. That's what I need to go through. Anyway, he said, "Hi, come on in." Okay. So I walk in. He said, "Grab a chair, sit down, talk to me." Okay. So he shook my hand and asked my name. I told him. I sat down. We were talking. He asked me about my family, where I was from, and if I went to school or whatever. And during the course of the conversation, I said, "You know what, Elvis? There's a reason why I come looking for you today." He said, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And I said, "I come to tell you you can't play guitar for today." And he looked at me with that devilish look that so many of us got to know. you know, like, oh, this is going to be fun. And over on the side of the wall there was an old Gibson J45, beat up Gibson J45 leaning up against the wall. And he said, well, you think you can play better than me, boy? I said, I know I can. And I said, you mind if I borrow that guitar for a minute? He said, no, go ahead with this. Go ahead, kid, entertain me. I dare you kind of look on his face. You know? So I grabbed that guitar and strapped it on and I pulled out a set of finger picks I carried with me. And I played a little Foggy Mountain Breakdown on the guitar, which is not a guitar song, it's a banjo song, but I played it on the guitar for him anyway, finger picked it. Then I sang him a couple of songs. And when I finished, I put the guitar back and he said, you're pretty good. And I said, I know. I don't believe in you know, revenge or anything, but I was just getting me, that's all. And it was fun. And we talked a little bit more. And then pretty soon, it sounded like there was a herd of elephants coming running down the hallway. And some of his, I guess, bodyguards to this day, I don't remember who they were, but they stuck their head in there. They said, who are you, kid? You got to get out of here. Who are you? Get out of here. I said, okay, fellas, you know, I'm leaving. Take it easy. And Elvis, to his credit, stood up and said, wait a minute, guys. This kid's name is John Wilkinson, and he just gave me a guitar lesson. Leave him alone. All right. They said, well, you got to dress her. You got to get down there. They're going to be running your songs here in a few minutes. I said, you got things to do, Elvis. This place you meet you, and shook hands with him. And I started walking to the door, and he said, Johnny, come back here a minute. I said, you bet. And I looked at these bodyguards, and I went, he wants me back. So I went back, and he gave me a big hug. And in my ear, he said, Johnny, I just know one of these days, I just know from the bottom of my heart, one of these days we're going to meet again. I said, you know what, Elvis, I hope we do. Have a great show tonight. Tear them up, you know. And I walked out, and I went downstairs, got on my bike, and was riding home. And, you know, I thought all the way home, I thought, you know what, that boy ain't got nobody to play with. He's awesome. That's why he wanted me to come in there and talk to him. He didn't care that I told him he couldn't play guitar for the damn. You know, he didn't have nobody to play with. You know, he was lonesome. So we got to be, from that time on, we had a really nice, warm friendship. And we knew we couldn't trust each other about what we were going to say either.
John, after that initial meeting, how long was it before his words came true? When did you hear from him again?
Well, the next time actually I saw him was about 10 years later. He was out in Hollywood at that time, 64. And I was out there by that time too, trying to get a career going. And I saw him at the old Whiskey A Go-Go there, you know, on Sunset Boulevard. As it happened, you want me to tell you about that?
Love to hear. Yeah.
Okay, I got the time?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, I had a group, a folk group, and I had been asked to play at the old Whiskey A Go-Go a few times, and so I knew the owner and all that. And it seems like everything happens on a Saturday, don't it? And I was sitting at home, and of course it was raining, and I was half drunk on red sangria wine, watching old Austin and Harriet reruns on a black and white TV. Hey, baby, I know how to have a good time. Yeah, living in Hollywood, yes, sir. Anyway, the phone rings, and it's the owner of the Whiskey A Go-Go, and he says, hey, John, this is Sam. Hi, Sam. How you doing? Fine. He said, you know what? Taj Mahal is supposed to open for Jefferson Airplane tonight. You know that, don't you? I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, Taj is sick. Wonder if you could get your guys together and come and do an opening set for Jefferson Airplane. At that time, it was the airplane before it was Starship. And I said, yeah, but I can't. I'll call you back. So I called my guys, and they said, sure, we'll meet you there. And we got there, and I walked in through the front of the whiskey early, of course, and dark as a dungeon in there. And over on the right-hand side of the stage, I saw there was a bunch of tables roped off, and there was candles on them. I said, okay, well, a bunch of people have made reservations to see the airplane. Sure as hell didn't make reservations to come see me. So we got there and did our set.